just want to show you a technique that I haven't shown anyone else yet, and I want to go ahead and record it and put it in the class. And it's a little bit different niche. And what it is, it's tax deed sale. So I can go ahead and go back page here with me. And these are tax deed sale. Oh, I messed up. These are tax deed sales for Escambia County where I am, but I'm also going to show you another county that you work as well. And so when I do my search, I'll just put in Escambia County tax deed sales, and it'll bring up the website where I can find the tax deed sales.
I
After I did that,
I just
these
had a
are all
question with respect to tax deed sales, you mean upcoming sales where they're selling the dough?
no, actually, what I'm going to show you is properties, and I'll go ahead and click on one of these. I'm going to go back to November of 2021. And these are all properties that were going to tax deed sale. Some of them sold, so they won't do us any good. But you can see a lot of these were redeemed. That means the people are right down to the finish line and going to lose their property, but they redeemed it just right at the end. So these are people that historically have been really stuck, and they're going to be really stuck again.
Okay.
So I'm going to just pull up one record. And one thing it doesn't tell you if these are single family, commercial, or vacant lots. So part of the process is manual, and it's something that I do by myself, or you could have a VA do. So a lot of times, if it's residential, the opening bid amount is going to be lower because the taxes on a vacant lot are lower than the taxes on a $300,000 or $400,000 house. So you can click on all these individually, and I'm going to click on one that I just looked at a few moments ago, and it's this one here. You can see that the taxes, I believe, were almost $3,000, and so right in here in that record, you click on the link that takes me right to the appraiser's office, and I'm going to show you another county as well. So as I clicked on that, I can see that this property is assessed at $32,000 for the land. There are no improvements. And as I look at it, I can see that they've owned the property since 1995. So it did not transfer after the tax deed sale. That means these people that got in this situation still own it. And so now what I'm going to click on are the taxes and the tax history. And so I can just get an idea, were they behind 2 years or were they behind 10 years? And typically for a property to go to a tax deed sale, that they have to be at least 2 years behind. So here I can see they're currently behind, but the record that I clicked on is in the year 2021. So as I go through all these past years, they were behind. It was going to go to tax deed sale. They redeemed it. And in 2021, they went ahead and they paid the back taxes, or in 2020, they paid the back taxes. And now these people are in the same situation again. So these are people that historically are behind on taxes, and they're more likely to sell than someone that's current on their taxes. So this is a motivated seller. And this information is not coming from PropStream. It's not coming from other data sources. So as a result, very few people are going to call them. And so there's two things you can do. You can go ahead and mail to them, or there's two skip tracing tools, I believe, in the class. One is free, but I use another one here. It just cost me $1.25 a search. And so I use it not in volume, but selectively. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. It's going to send, so I'm logging in and I'm clicking on email. So it's going to send my phone an email right now. Just a double verification.
I'm familiar with it. I signed up.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
So I'm waiting for the email, and I got it. And so by this process, what it allows you to do, and I've logged in, and I'm going to go back to the record, is Yancey, Thompson, and Cantonment. So I'm going back here. I'm going to search. Just make sure I get it right. And I haven't searched this before, so we'll just see what we get here.
It's live.
This is live, Florida. And just make sure I spelled that right. Ton. So here's Yancey Thompson that we just did live. He's 52 years old. And as you look at this record, I can see where he currently lives. I can see he's filed bankruptcy in 2001. He currently has liens. He currently has judgments. He's got criminal infractions and business affiliations. So I can click on any of these and get more details, but I'll just click on criminal infractions. And many times when I'm talking to a seller in general, I'll do this because it gives me some background information. I don't do it all the time, but as I look at it, here's his arrest record. And you can see it just goes on from felony moving traffic, resisting arrest. This is a bad guy. But anyway, we can also assume that it was someone that wasn't quite as creepy. So what I can do, usually here where it says phone, I'll usually have 7 or 8 phone numbers. This guy obviously does not want to be found. So this might not be a good person to try to follow up with, or it might be when you want to mail a letter. But here's the last 7 or 8 addresses he had.
Wait, so the most current is Highway 29 North?
Yeah, and here's current email addresses right here. Again, they may be current. Here's up here, it says here's the last email address he had right here. And many times, if you can't get a hold of him, or maybe the person we're trying to get hold of is deceased, I can click on relatives over here, and then I can pull up all their information too. So it's a great tool. So now I'm going to go back to, I get too many windows open, but I'm going to try to go back to the page that we're on, and let's see if we can find another one. So this guy could be extremely motivated, but he could be extremely creepy also. Yep. We're just going through this. Here's one where the taxes were $2,900. You can click on that record and it's a manual process. And here's another one. It's vacant land, assessed at $5,300. What I can see, it looks like the property was quit claimed in 2020. So I don't know. And I can do additional research to find out if the person that currently owns it is the person that was going to lose it at tax deed sale. So I've got Frederick Hunter, and I'm going to go back to the record here. I think it was this one. And this was going to tax deed sale November 1st of 2020 right here. But what else I can find in this record, this took me to the appraiser site, but I click on this next magnifying glass. The county's already done a preliminary title search. And in county that I'm showing you now, Escambia County, I'll show you what came up in the preliminary title search. And it's taken a little while to load. Mm-hmm. But again, it's a manual process, but I'm finding people that were going to lose their property. And again, it's trying to load.
Have you been successful using this list?
Yes, it works very well. And it's just one at a time.
Yeah.
And you could have a VA do it and go through. Bear with me as it's loading. And it seems to be very slow this morning. I pretty much do it myself, and I just do one at a time. But if you want to do 10 a day or 5 a day, but let's see if this loads. Okay. Now here's the application for the tax deed sale. It breaks down all the fees that they owe. So they owe, basically $2,112, and actually a little bit more. But as I go through it, it's going to show me, here's the link to the appraiser's website or a copy of it. Here's a copy of the lot. This is the document that was legally published. And it shows when it was going to go to tax deed sale, November of 2021. Now they do a title report. Here's all the issues that were wrong with this title. And there are so many. And this is being recorded. I'm pretty sure I recorded it.
It says recording in the upper left corner.
Okay, good. You helped me. But this one has so many issues. I would pass on it. I'm going to go back. I'll close this. And let's just see if we can find another one. And I'm looking for one that's a lower dollar amount. The lower dollar amounts are more likely to be vacant land. Let's do this for it.
And you pick the ones that are redeemed, right?
Yeah, redeemed. And that way I'm contacting the seller directly that got in this situation. Now I'm just looking at another one. This one looks like a condominium or something because it shows the land's worth 0. We'll see if we can find another one.
There's dry storage, condo marine dry storage.
Yeah, this one here, $1,826. It shows the improvements are only worth $3,000. It's probably a beat up mobile home, I'm guessing. Right here, there's a picture of beat up mobile home. So the improvements it's basically vacant land. But let me go ahead and just use this one as an example. So I can see the person that got in the situation has owned the property since 2012. So it hasn't changed hands since they got in this situation. I can click on the taxes right here. And again, these people, they redeemed it in 2021. They're back in the same situation. They're basically $700 behind on the taxes. And you can see historically, problem in 2020, problem in 2017, problem in 2011. So now I can go ahead and take this person's name, Ronald Coburger, and I can go ahead if I want, and I'm going to go back page. And I forget which one this was.
IDI core, I see it.
I'm looking for which property this was. I clicked on, I think it was this one here. Anyway, so then the next thing I do is click on this magnifying glass and bring up all the issues with the property again. I can take Ronald Coburger, clear this search. Which put Florida. And here's Ronald Coburger. He lives in Pensacola. He doesn't have as many issues as the previous ones. Here's the criminal infractions. Here's the phone numbers right here. Here's the resident's phone number that was new in July of 2022. Right
And the
in
other
there.
is the cell?
Pardon me?
Is the other the cell where it says R and then C?
Yeah, it's residential and cell.
Oh, cool.
So there's the house phone right there. The cell phone's probably old. There's no email addresses right here. Then usually when you see deceased here, 84, this was probably the dad right here.
Oh, yeah.
If I wanted to, this is Ronald D. Coburger. So I'm going to go back to the record here. And Ronald D. Coburger passed away. So the person that was going to go to tax deed sale passed away. So let me go back to the property. And again, we're doing it live. So I'm going to I lost the record. So bear with me.
And
It was this one right here. Across the line. And so I could go ahead and this one, it probably has a mobile home as well, but I can go ahead and pull up the record. Yeah, I can see that he's owned it since 2012. Again, it's a beat up mobile home that we looked at earlier. I pulled up the taxes, and if I wanted to, since we went to IDI Core, he passed away and property is still in his name. They're behind on the taxes again. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and call the son right here and just say, I see that you have a property. Let's just assume it was a vacant lot, a beat up mobile home. And I could say, I see that you have a vacant lot. My wife and I are looking for a vacant lot in this area. Would you consider entertaining enough? And so what we do know is that they were already going to tax deed sale. Historically, they have challenges. And these people are more likely to sell than many other categories. And so if I want to do something quick, I could go ahead and go through this month here, and maybe I'd pull up 5 of them. I can go ahead and skip trace them. And those are 5 people that I could call today.
I gotcha.
And I do mostly mail. And the one we're closing on today was mail. They are leads that we're getting from PropStream and some other sources. These are leads that most likely nobody else is contacting. Then what I did And bear with me as I get too many windows open here. I'm going to close some of them.
But now you have to know the value of that lot, and is it worth it for you to pursue? What's the value of that mobile home lot?
Yeah. So what I could do quickly, if I wanted to pull up comparables, I could quickly do this. But the other thing you can see is if they bought it in 2012, whatever amount it was, here it is here. He bought it for $3,000 in 2012.
Yeah.
Just the land's assessed at $10,000.
No.
Usually the assessed value is very conservative, and usually the land's worth at least double this. So I know I've got room. They're into it for $3,000.
Yep.
I know it's probably worth $25,000 minimum, but I can also pull up comps, and I can pull up vacant land. And again, every county is going to be different. And I can go ahead. Let me turn this. And I can see on my map here, this red one is his. And what I can see is, here's one right here, a vacant land, right here that sold for $19,000, identical property, 20,900,
I see. So wait a second, Michael, you clicked vacant sales, and that's how you got that, right? Okay.
Yeah, I did that. Even though this has a beat up mobile home for $3,000, that mobile home's probably going to cost $3,000 to have it removed. It's basically, even though it shows this picture, this is basically a vacant lot. This is probably going to have to be removed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the way I found it, I went back here and I looked for properties that had very low opening bid amounts, and the opening bid is based on the delinquent taxes. This one here, that's 15,000. This is going to be a property that's either a very huge lot or it's some fruit. As I go through these one at a time manually, the ones that I click on are the ones that have very low opening bid because they're more likely to be vacant lots, but it's a manual process. And so it's one at a time. So I go ahead and then I find one, which we did. Go ahead and close some of these. It does as I get too many open. So the next thing I did, I went to a different county. So now I'm going to put
Citrus County.
Okay, so we're just going to do this and see what comes up. Right here. So I'm pulling up Citrus County. And as I do this, right here on the main page, it said tax deed search. So I'm going to click right on tax deed search, proceed to site. And now it's going to give me, and again, it takes a little while. There's different search functions in every county. So in here, I can search by status, and which is great. And it's even a better search function. So let's search for redeem. And now let's search for just ones from 2020 to, I'm just going to pull about 5 or 6 months just for the purpose of this presentation. 2020 to 2021. So now what I'm pulling up, all these properties here are people that were going to tax deed sale that were redeemed. And you'll be able to, you can sort many different ways. You can sort by here, opening bid. It's by doing this, what I'm doing is starting with this county works much better than the one I was just showing you. So I'm sorting by dollar amount now. So it's more likely that these ones here with the lower dollars amount that you see are vacant parcels. And so now what I can do, I can go ahead and click on one of these records. Just click on arbitrarily, I'm click on one. And what it brought up for me is additional detail. This county has different search functions than Escambia County where I was. But what it shows me is I can look at property owner is Bruce Lawrence right here. And if I want to, I can go to the property appraiser's website right here. And here's Bruce Lawrence, and we'll see he still owns it right here. And I can get additional information. It's approximately 1/4 of an acre. And the additional information I can pull up, I believe I can pull up documents of when he bought it right here. But what else I could pull up? I can go right here and I can pull up photos of the property. And this one didn't happen to have it. But what I know is, okay, here's a guy that was going to tax deed sale. And I can also go to the tax collector's website right here for the same guy. And so it's trying to populate.
You didn't even have to type anything in. You just hit a button.
This site works much better than the site that I was just at. And I can see, okay, as I look at it, in 2018, had a problem. In 2019, he had a problem. In 2020, he had a problem. And 2022 taxes are a little bit late, but not much. So I could take the same guy and let's go back.
But when it says paid off, that's when he paid it, or it says tax deduction.
Yeah. So what happens was in 2019, the person, it was going to go to tax deed sale. But what he did, he knew it was going to go to tax deed sale. So he eventually paid it off before it went to sale.
Okay.
He didn't lose the property. He still owns it. So I could do the same thing and go to Bruce Lawrence. Let's just do that. And I could go to guy. Let's just put Florida, since it's not a common name. And we'll just do a search. Here's Bruce Lawrence right there. Here's all of his phone numbers right here. I got new resident spawn from 2022. I've got a new cell phone in 2022. I've got his email addresses right here. I've got his other addresses right
It's
here.
reachable, right?
Yeah, I've this criminal history in here, or I can click on business affiliation. I can click on any of these, but these are ones this search cost me $1.25. And let's see. Yeah, something to do with being a manager of a yacht. It looks like a manager. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Yeah, but it's the
Has maybe a business license or something. I could click on his criminal infractions and just get an idea. And typically when I pull someone up, they're mostly just speeding and those type of things. Sometimes you run into other issues. So overall, what I can do is go to any county, go to the tax deed sale website, and the county that we're doing right now was great because I could sort by which ones have been redeemed. I can pull up which period that I want. I can pull up properties that were redeemed a year ago. I can pull up properties that were redeemed 2 months ago. I can go back to my county. I can go back to look at all these years. I can go through these forever. It's more likely if it was 20 years ago that someone's inherited the property, changed hands, then I can click on any month here.
And do you think it's more beneficial to use this past year of 2022?
I don't know. I would just say maybe, but when this tax deed sale was yesterday in my county, and you can see most of the people redeemed them. Some of the properties were sold. But let me see if I can find one that's got a lower price. So it's probably vacant land, like this one, $1,500 is probably vacant land. So I can click on it. Now it's got improvements. Probably not very nice improvements. It's got improvements. So it is somewhat manual. You can have someone do it for you. That's another one. Or if someone was interested in houses, they could use this tool for houses. I'm trying to find another vacant land one. So this one, the land's worth $13,000. The improvements are worth, it probably has a shed on it, $120. But what happened was, it looks like the property changed hands in May of 2022. So this would not be a good one. The person that incurred the tax, that incurred the problems, and it was going to go to tax deed sale, would have probably been the previous owner. And the guy that bought it is the one that probably paid them off.
Okay, I got you.
It's just another technique. It's more manual intensive, but if you wanted to, you could go back here. We'll go here again. I'll be close to some of these other windows. So I'm going to go back to all the different ways you can search, and I'd spend a little more time on it. And I spent a little time on this earlier. Here's lands available. Here's status. I go back to redeemed again, and we'll go back to 2021 to basically I'm searching in air a year there.
Yeah, I say it.
And here's all the ones in here. And what I like about yours, instead of clicking one at a time, I can just sort by price. And it's more likely that these ones at the lower prices are vacant. This column here on the far left, this is a person that bought the tax deed certificate. That's not the owner. So to get the owner and get the detail on any of these, and again, here's the sales date that it was going to go to sale. They've all been redeemed. Here's about how much they were delinquent. Over here to the right, this is the owner here. So if you wanted an individual, here's
Okay, so let's start at the top. So Maylin Lowe is the owner of this property, this top property.
right. Yeah, this one here, we'll just click on one. So
Mail it.
left, right. Savvy was the person that bought the tax deed certificate or was going to make it good for the tax deed sale. Case number, certificate number. Here's the APN number right there. You could take the APN number and cut and paste it, or we could probably just click on it right here.
So that
So
I
let-
understand, Michael, you're saying Maylin Lowe still owns it, but Savvy bought the tax deed, so he has to be paid off because he
Well,
taxes.
they don't. They've already been paid off. All these people have been paid off.
Oh, okay.
What happened was when the county doesn't get paid their taxes, they sell the certificate. Savvy was the one that bought the certificate, and Savvy was the one that told the county, okay, we're going to sell this property now. It's been over 2 years. We're going to sell it. So that information was posted, and Lynn May was notified. Lynn May got the notice before the tax deed sale and paid the property off. So now I have to click on this record, and here's the individual record right here.
Right. And Savvy made money on buying the tax deed because
Right.
and
And-
Lynn paid them off.
And when it goes to a point where they sell the certificate, the people that buy the certificate get up to 18% return.
I gotcha.
People bid on them. I can bid on certificates. You can bid on certificates. The more people that bid on them, the interest rate that they get paid comes down.
Yeah.
So if there's one bidder, they're going to get 18%. So now I can click on the property appraiser record, and I can see it looks like it's vacant right here. It looks like it's a third of an acre. Yeah, I can see right here it's assessed at $14,000 right down here in this information.
Yep.
And it's a tax link right here. I can probably pull up the tax link, or I can also go to the tax collector's website here. So I can go to the appraiser's website here. Let's click on this one, see if we can see a photo. And we could not. Let's go back and click on the tax collector's website. And now they owe for 2022, but you can see they had an issue in 2015. They had an issue in 2018, and they eventually pay them off. Again, it's a manual process.
Yeah.
But it's a way, if someone wants to try to find motivated people today, you can go down through here. And what I'd probably do is do maybe 5 a day, or you could do 10 a day. You could have a VA do all this preliminary work and qualify them for you. But let's just click on another one. Let's click on one. We'll sort by opening bid again. Try to find another one here. We got Savvy again, so I can go to the appraiser's website. And again, I can see it's vacant land. It's approximately an acre.
Its value is $33,000 in 2020.
And I'm not 100, sometimes I'm not 100% sure that it's vacant land, but I just want to verify it. I can take I've got the APN number right here. I can also go to the appraiser's website and go to the tax collector's website and look at the tax history again. And see, okay, these people only had a problem one time, and it was right here. They owed for 2018, and they paid it off in March of 2022. So they may not be as motivated as some of the other ones where we see 5 or 6 years of issues.
Let's just say I was interested in this property. Well,
Okay.
Teresa Catolis, whatever her name is. I would call
Right.
or catch with her and say, Teresa, I see you own land on Princewood Drive. I'd be interested in purchasing it. I've done some comps in the area. Would you consider an offer?
Yeah. Would you consider entertaining an offer? And I can see here, this looks like maybe the sales history of the property. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not 100% familiar with this county. So what I do, let's just click on this tax link here, and it will probably bring up that same document. Okay, yeah, it brought up the same document. Or I could take I could take I believe the assessor's parcel number. Just going to copy that. But what I want to find out is now I'm on a property appraiser's website, similar to being on the property appraiser's website in Escambia County where I am. And so now I just go ahead and go through everything right here and do my research. So if you're in too many windows open. So now what I want to do is go through here and try to do as much research as I could. And not being 100% familiar with this county, I'd want to go, I don't know, well, I'd want to go through and see what additional information I can find. On my county, I can find last times it transferred, the assessed value, an outline of the lot, and you're more of an expert at Citrus County than I am maneuvering around it. So what I would want to do is pull up maybe vacant sale.
Yep.
And I'm assuming Citrus County has the same function, or you could take the assessor's parcel. We're cross-referencing and we're cross-searching. We could also take that property address and put it in PropStream and pull a lot of additional information. But to keep it simple, this is not a good example because it's probably commercial property, but here's sales of $1.3 million properties.
Yeah.
It's not a good example, but I can go through and try to get a good idea of what it's worth. So I get too many windows open, so I'm going to go ahead and close some of these. And the two tools that I use primarily is PropStream and my county records. So what I would recommend, and I'm going to the home of the appraiser's website, what I'd recommend is becoming an expert at Citrus County Property Appraiser's website. And usually what I do, I start from left to right, and I try to go through every one of these. Agricultural is not going to make sense, but here's home button. Here's the search button. I can search by owner. I can search by address. Here's search help. Right here, search help is going to tell you how to maneuver your way through the site. And by going through here, that education.
Yeah.
Yeah, that education is worth a lot. So the two tools that I primarily use is PropStream and becoming an expert at Citrus County. But what we did learn is, again, with too many windows open, what we did learn earlier was I can go into Citrus County tax deed sales. I can go ahead and I can pull up all the tax deed sales. I can sort by the ones that have been redeemed.
Yep.
That means they had an issue. They've been redeemed. I can pull up the property taxes and see what are the issues. Were they behind one time? Are these people historically behind? And if they're historically behind, I'm thinking, this is a good one. And I know it's vacant land. I can take their name. I can put Bruce Lawrence into IDI Core or other skip tracing tools. And I could go ahead today and call him. And I just do it. My name's Michael. I'm looking to buy a vacant lot in Escambia County, or I'm looking to buy a vacant lot in Citrus County. And I got your information from the property appraisers, and I see you have a vacant lot. And I was wondering if you may consider entertaining an offer.
And then he's going to say, how much for you should know.
Yeah. And then what I said, let me just ask you a few questions about the property and the way I defer giving them an answer right then I said, we'd like to go ahead and do a little bit more research and take a look at the property. Even though you live out of the area, I say, can I get your permission to visit the property? And I said, we like to do that. So if any of the neighbors see us walking around, we can just let them know that we have your permission.
Yep.
And you can do it by Google Earth. So now that gives you a couple days to do your research. So yesterday I was training someone's VA, and with her, I said, today's Wednesday. We were role playing phone calls. I said, today's Wednesday. I'll get by it in the next couple of days. Would it be okay if I get back to you by Saturday? So now I've got 2 or 3 days, but what it enabled you to do, just this technique, what it enabled you to do is go ahead and quickly find people. These people have trouble. And you saw one of the ones we pulled up, the guy had 110 arrest records. That one I would pass on, but it's a manual process. But let's just say you spend an hour or a half hour, you probably could go ahead and identify 5 properties. You could skip trace them real quick. And you could, if you spend an hour a day, if you did 5 a day and you did it just say for a month or 20 working days, it'd be 100 a month. I would think there'd be 2 or 3 sales in you. Yeah. So it's just another technique. We try to nail the motivated people that live out of the area that are behind on the taxes. But these people are so behind on the taxes that their properties are going to tax deeds.